Ye, this is Point Black, coming hard and off the card. Coming with the flu, straight from the barrio, and coming with the facts, to crack back. Coming with the boom bit, to the line ass lips. This is PBNN, Point Black, National News, the late and the great edition in itself. Whether they like it or not, we have many people who try to intervene in other people's lives as if they're own. But at the same time, they forgot that you cannot live the life for others. The others must live the life for themselves. So anytime you have an elected official, the structure of government that is put there to do the people's business in a free state or free world that should be all over the planet, not just the United States, and all over the world as a whole. This freedom must be something that must be spread to all in these times. There is no special group. So in the matter of things, based on the lives of the people of the planet Earth, we must look at this from that perspective. That an ideology, the ideology as well. Because in that ideology, or whatever you want to call it, it is still based on reality. It doesn't matter what reality or ideology you have. And the prosperital understanding of creation in itself, or not even creation, but that has always been, has speak for itself in many ways, as we see. You know what I mean? As we see. So we know that there are people who seem to think that all this fiasco and so on, and their rule and anything they want to do to us as a people can be done based on their wicked business. So if you have a government that is structured based on its principles, based on its freedom, and that is written in the Constitution in many ways and have been there for years, the ratification of any amendment or anything into the Constitution cannot be done by elected officials because of the bearing of wickedness that can be placed in the Constitution that should not be there. When we look at even today of what's going on with Donald J. Trump and many other people based on the Constitution and the United States and the United States people, the citizens, the common people, we see a dictatorship in itself, basing itself on the fact of using our government and having these certain ideology or group that come into our government, whether years ago, many years ago, or whatever the case may be, it still speaks for what we see today. And today is a new time in which a new generation must now step up in all ways. And those of a mid-age and age of old, of young and mid, you know what I'm saying? And that goes for the females as well. We must start to hear your voices as strong as can be for the will of the people and the common people across planet Earth as a whole. Not just only in the Gaza Strip, but right now the Gaza Strip is priority. But when we see a crew of people who are in our government that creates things and live a life of lavishness while many lives have been snuffed away through their wicked ideology, and then bringing their ideology to life by using one's government is a criminal act in itself that is more heinous than any crime that you can think of. Because the will of one person or group or crew to bring tyranny across the planet, it is not a country that should be. That in itself is wickedness. And they get into our government, and these people seem to have been with this ideology for many years, you know that, as the experience of black people in this world. And we're not speaking only of slavery. That's a last minute rule, but in many ways goes back many years. Even going back to the days of Musa and many other kings. But in itself, we must examine the righteousness and the overstanding within. We have a group of people that got into government and seem to think that whatever they do, say, or do to people is okay because they have all kind of secret underground and secret this and secret that. The question would be, wouldn't it, is what did the people do to you? That's the number one question. What did they do to you that you must act this way? So we see, in many ways, the things that happen on our planet that is caused by one group of people in combination as well. But we know that this is what we do. And being elected as a president and to get into office and have been a part of orchestrating some of the most genocidal behavior in their career going back many years. And the people continuously see them in another light within their own. But when the wrong of their own is mentioned, it seems like they have all type of schematical, Luciferian, garbichical, secret plan that leads to what we call today the controversy. And they go across the earth and do the same thing in other people's country and other places with no regard for those people. To where even when they are driven from their country and crossing or so-called borders in Africa, there should be no borders in Africa other than overstanding. You know what I'm saying? What borders did they talk about? I don't know. Who went into Africa and separated shit? Must come to an end. The unified understanding of Africa unite for its later than we think himself. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. So we see where it is that these people do the things they do. So it's important now for us to make sure that we understand. Oh, yeah, hold on a second. So, like I was saying, in all seriousness, we see where this must come to an end. You know what I mean? Much of this rule that we see on planet Earth has caused major destruction as well. Now, when we look at even when they speak about this war with Russia and Ukraine and all this masturbation of all this military might across the planet Earth, question we must ask is how many people ever really see what a nuclear weapon can do? You know what I'm saying? Because they seem to think that it's a joke and it's all right to play the game in which Joe Biden and them have chumped up with Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? And it's not all right. You know what I'm saying? Because we are speaking of mass destruction and their weapons of mass destruction in which they created and probably stole the technology and created this bullshit across planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? Such a hurry and such a rush. You know what I'm saying? So how many people really could tell me that they've seen what a nuclear weapon really does in more ways than one? You know what I mean? So even the war in Ukraine and many things that's going on over there must come to an end. Because who in the world creates a nuclear weapon in the first place? Who was the brainiac that thought up some shit like that in the first place? Knowing the massive destruction that that weapon could do to life as we know it on planet Earth. And then to exacerbate and bring that fear on continuous level to the common people. To see the death and destruction even in the Gaza Strip, Ethiopia, and even when the Ethiopians and different people are seeking refuge, as they cross over into other places, they're being shot and killed. Imagine that. So we see the mass extermination as well as a mass migration. This is deemed democratical in all ways across the planet. So we know the genocidal garbage is going on. Aside from even what we've seen go on in the medical field. Watch the medical field. So at the same time, while people are playing games and making things so and so, there's a lot to think about here in all ways that we're seeing on this planet today. And the report is something that we should not have been hearing at all, but the reality is speaking true. So while people sitting up here playing games, electing these idiots and these different people in our government, rather than meet one that is built by the people and for the people, because it seemed like the other two or the other one should not have been there in the first place. And we know that's the deal in Democrats. But they have ceased to control both sides sometimes, even in the political game. So the people have to have some form of watchdog and some form of this and that, because there is no way that the people should still be asking Joe Biden not to back up Israel in its garbage that it's doing to the Gaza people, and the British should be ashamed of themselves. You should be thoroughly ashamed of yourself, what you have done to many people on this planet using weapons of mass destruction in which you probably stole from someone else in its invention in itself. But you use it as in the beastliest way that you have possibly ever seen. Mass destruction across planet Earth. Many lives have been lost due to this garbage. And they continue to do so and asking for a ceasefire. And Biden is sitting up there doing it because he's a part of the creation of putting that occupation and invasion into the Gaza Strip of Egypt. So he's not going to do anything. And then you're asking for to send soldiers to the Middle East. They're sending American soldiers to the Middle East for what? Another invasion and killing and mass genocidal behavior of our very own military that we're supposed to respect. There's something wrong with that picture. What they should be going over there to do is to create a ceasefire. If anything at all, and talking about the policing and watching of the world, you should be going over there to create a ceasefire. Not backing up Israel, the invasion, occupational people created by the Joe Biden administration and many others in this orchestration over many years of past and now, to go over there and help to create even more genocidal pressure upon the Gazan people or anyone in Africa because we did it to the Africans too. We have never and will never forget what you have done. Treating the world and the people as if human cargo now and becoming more and more bold in his ways. So we must wake up now. No more sleeping at the helm. No more sleeping at the helm. As we see here on the Daily Mail, we see the Virginia officials unearthed 4,000 missing votes from the 2020 that showed it creepy as Joe Biden. I mean, cheeky ass Joe Biden. I don't give a damn if they find 1 million who won the state by 5K from Trump. Well, uh, that was only one state. But anyway, at the same time, um, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe it. And it seems like a very bullshit story, if you ask me, to justify the claim that they didn't cheat the election. And if you found $4,000 now, why didn't you find it a long time ago? So get out of here with that Google shit. And we see Donald Trump is warned of revolt over his pick for the vice president in itself. And we see a lot of that going on with Donald Trump in itself. You know what I'm saying? We see Republicans warn the president, Donald J. Trump, of revolt if he picks a GOP, he picks the GOP opponent, Nikki Haley, as his vice president. Well, Trump got to make a decision on this one because, you know what I'm saying, if it's becoming a sticky situation where it's not going over smoothly, then it has to have some type of rearranging to it. You know what I'm saying? If Nikki Haley is not the favorite and the popular of the people, why would Trump, continuously thing unless he's using it as a wedge? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, he needs to pick a woman of familyism, a woman that shows the other part of a man in itself that should be governing the country as the elected is concerned in its authority in its position. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna pick a woman, then they don't like Nikki Haley, then you need to pick someone else who is more family orientated and understand this country as Donald Trump say he do. You know what I'm saying? But Trump is the front runner for his party 2024 nomination and has recently gained, I see here, more momentum after winning the Republican caucus in Iowa on Monday. On Trump won 51% of the votes, while Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former South Carolina Governor and ex United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley finished with 21.2. Okay, so we see where that's going down. But Haley in itself, you know what I'm saying, is seen as a threat to Trump in New Hampshire, which will hold its primary on Tuesday, while Trump is still in the lead, you know what I'm saying, with 4.35% of the vote support. Harley has 30.5%, according to the polls, you know what I'm saying, you know, agitators, you know what I'm saying, as we see, you know what I'm saying, 538, you know what I'm saying, but anyway, whatever. The idea of having Harley as the as Trump vice president, if he wins the nomination, if he wins the nomination, has been floated, but some conservatives have voiced their disapproval, including Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. You know what I'm saying? In a post on X, formerly Twitter, you know what I'm saying? Should have just left it at Twitter. You know what I'm saying? On Tuesday, Kirk wrote, Nikki Haley must not become the vice president candidate. Pro-war, pro-illegal, pro-censorship, pro-DC, uh, up in party or whatever, Hollywood singly what? Handedly, single-handedly dragged down, you know what I'm saying, Trump, you know what I'm saying, emphasis, 10 to 15%, the base would revolt. You know what I'm saying? Well, if that's what I'm saying, if there's a, and even Representative Matt Gaetz, a Florida, and well respected, a Florida Republican and Trump supporter, backed Kirk comments responding to the post. Charlie is Charlie is spot on. You know what I'm saying? Harvey said, I don't play for seconds. When asked if she would accept an offer to be Trump's vice president at a campaign event in Lebanon, you know what I'm saying, New Hampshire, in late December, in a follow-up post, Kirk gave some options for Trump's vice president, good VOP candidates. You know what I'm saying? That that the grassroots would, you know what I'm saying? That grassroots would give some opinion for Trump's vice president, good VOP candidates that have the grassroots would embrace, like Tucker Carlson, Ben Carson, Brian Donald, J.D. Vance, you know what I'm saying, whatever his name is, Ramaswamy Ring Dong, you know what I'm saying, Ron Johnson, you know what I'm saying, Ron Johnson would be good, but Ron Paul would be another one, you know, and Christian Long, you know what I'm saying, in its way, so, you know what I'm saying, he's still leading back to a man, you know what I mean, but we need to see a woman vice president in there because that's what the country and creation and in itself, in creating creation is about. You know what I'm saying? But we see here where Megyn Kelly, or whatever her name is, say if Michelle Obama launched a 2024 presidential run, it's a whole new ballgame. Megyn Kelly said that if she ran and launched a candidacy for the 2024 presidential, election, it's a whole new ballgame. No, it isn't, because nobody with that LGBTQ nonsense all the time either. And we don't need to be lied to continuously. Come straight up, and maybe then we'll think about it. There's no question she's more talented than Preeti Joe Biden. Yeah, right. Okay. It is politically, no question, Kelly added during a Tuesday expose or whatever of her SiriusXM podcast on Megan Kelly show. Though Kelly said she is unsure whether the former whatever her name is first, whatever, would, saying that she for the commander in chief role. You know what I'm saying? My advice is don't vote for her. Keep out of politics while we're ahead of the game. We see hundreds of New Jersey soldiers deployed to the Middle East. Many of them deployed to the Middle East for what? Is the question that we must ask. And we must think of the Palestinian people in all ways. So if they're going over there as a peace force and to bring about a ceasefire, we understand. But if they're going over there to participate in the murder and the killing of the Palestinian people as a whole, that I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And how can the world stand aside and let this genocide go on? Is the question that we must ask. And what we see there, if not careful, will one day be the common people of the world demise. So we must now start to talk upon all of the different crimes against humanity and genocide by all means. It is important that we do so. You know what I'm saying? In all ways. We can't expect that the world is going to always heal itself when you can be lied to right in your face, you know what I'm saying, in its ways of this genocidal behavior. You know what I'm saying? In its genocidal behavior. So we know that something is wrong. So it's important that we understand that. You know what I'm saying? It's important that we understand that. Because this is what we're seeing going on today that doesn't look right in many ways. You know what I mean? It doesn't look right in many ways. And it's a shame to see how many of the people today are accepting these things as if it's okay to do so, or to allow this behavior to go on. You know what I mean? In itself.